KX17 XVK, KV17 XVK. What are the odds?
Alright, first to figure out the exact odds, we need to break down each section of this license plate. The British license plate, the first two letters indicate the area in which the car was registered. Two vehicles start with a KX and a KV, both of which indicate that those two vehicles were registered in Northampton. First, I thought the odds that the first letter would match up would actually be pretty likely, because if you're both driving around Northampton, it's likely that both those cars would be registered in the same place. Then I realized you weren't in Northampton, which I figured out by following this pin on your shirt, which led me to Clark's of London Coaches, a private coaching company in London, located by the Wandsworth Bridge in London. Looking around the area, I noticed this structure seemed to match this X-ring sculpture in the background of your video. Lining up that sculpture with the buildings in the background, I managed to find the exact street you parked on. So now I need to figure out the odds that two cars both registered in Northampton would end up parked next to each other somewhere in London. First, I thought I could use the fact that roughly 6% of people who worked in London reported a commute of 1 to 2 hours. Of course, plenty of cars registered in Northampton will not necessarily be driving from there. Instead, I had a British contact of mine who lives in London, Jack Lawrence, to conduct a brief sample. He found 9 out of 152 cars near him having a license plate that started with the letter K, which coincidentally is just under 6%. Now, the next two numbers indicate the age of the car itself. Since both cars contain a 17, means both of those cars were registered sometime between March 1st and August 31st, 2017. To figure out the odds that those two cars would be registered around the same time, I took note of the fact that roughly 40% of cars in the United Kingdom were between 6 and 13 years old, most recent bit of data in 2022 being 41.7%. We're specifically looking at a 6-month period over that 7-year age range, or about 7% of that range, would equate to just under 3% of cars in the United Kingdom. These last three letters are just completely random letters. British licensing rules dictate that the letters I and Q are not included in this 3-letter sequence, giving us 24 cubed or 13,824 possible combinations for those last 3 letters. However, some 3-letter combinations are not allowed, words like arse or damn or anything deemed inappropriate or offensive. I wrote down all the 3-letter combos that I could confirm were banned, as well as anything that I thought would likely be banned as well. I came up with a list of around 55 words total. Figured there are probably 100 combinations, which I subtracted from that total. Using 1 out of 13,724 for the last 3 letters, the 3% chance that you two registered the car within the same 6 months, the 5.9% chance that both those cars are registered in Northampton, gives us odds around 1 out of 7.78 million. If he was parked between 2 cars, his odds would double to about 1 out of 3.89 million. However, these are only the odds that this would happen on that specific day. On December 30th, I noticed you posted this car for the first time as a new car alert, 204 days before you uploaded that video. Assuming one drive Monday to Friday and taking off for vacation time gives us 138 possible drives where you could have parked next to a car like this. Using a binomial distribution, we can calculate that there is a 0.00177% chance that you would have parked next to a car like this at least once over those 138 days. The odds going up to 0.0035% if you parked next to 2 cars instead of just 1, meaning that the odds that you would have parked next to a car with a license plate that matched this closely at least once since you purchased that car would be somewhere between 1 in 56,000 and 1 in 28,000.